The Magic of Disney versus the Adventure of Universal.
My name's Eileen.
And I'm Emily.
And together we're going to Orlando, Florida. This has been a really stressful semester for the both of us.
Yeah, it definitely has. We have this organizational communications class. Whew, it is hard. So we feel like we deserve a little vacation before we start school again in the fall.
Orlando has been a prominent tourist destination for quite some time, and inevitable the question that we have to answer as tourists include which park to visit and which we would enjoy the most, Disney World or Universal Orlando.
Located just 15 miles apart, we realized that there must be underlying similarities and differences behind the success of both parks in such close proximity.
So we decided to do some research before we head out.
For those of you who don't know anything about either organization, we are definitely judging you a little bit. However, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt and tell you a brief description about each company. But seriously, if you don't know anything about Disney or Universal, you need to get yourself to Orlando pronto to experience these two amazing parks. Walt Disney World is a part of the Walt Disney Company. The Walt Disney Company got its start in 1923 when Walt and Roy Disney opened their company, Disney Brothers Cartoons. In 1928, Walt designed and animated a little mouse that would eventually become one of the most iconic symbols in the world. The mouse's name was Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse made his first sound film debut with a short animated clip entitled Steamboat Willie, and the rest is history. Skip forward many years, and Disney has become a leader in the film industry. Because of the wild success and popularity of Disneyland in California, in 1965, Walt Disney announced plans to create a new park titled Disney World that would open in Florida. Sadly, Walt would not live to see the opening of Disney World as he passed away in December of 1966. His brother Roy dedicated the new park to Walt and renamed it Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World opened in 1971 and quickly became a popular tourist destination. During the 80s, Walt Disney World expanded from its single park, the Magic Kingdom, to include 3 more parks, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. These expansion projects finished in the 90s, giving the 90s the title of the Disney Decade. In 2006, Disney acquired the company Pixar from Steve Jobs, which vastly expanded their company and in turn gave Walt Disney World more characters to work with. In 2013, Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom opened its new Fantasyland, which expanded the park by 25%.
In terms of its history, Universal is a relatively new competitor in comparison with Disney. Universal Resort Orlando opened its doors on June 7, 1990, just 3 years after MCA, which is the parent company of Universal Studios, began the construction in 1987. While the original Universal Studios in Hollywood was a major attraction, it was decided that a larger area and the addition of another park would yield opportunity for the ability to expand and create larger versions of the attractions, in addition to new and innovative ones. The initial opening included popular attractions such as Jaws and King Kong that were single self-contained instead of being simply a small part of a tram tour like at the Hollywood Park. In 1995 marked a notable year as the Seagram Company purchased MCA, the original owner and creator of Orlando Destination. MCA was then renamed to Universal Studios in 1996, a year later. The year 1999 then marked a big year for tourism and profits as the second park in the complex, which is named Universal's Islands of Adventure, opened, with the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man being the main attraction. The whole complex is a rebranded Universal Orlando. A decade after its opening in 2000, Vivendi merged with Seagram, including its interest in Universal Studios. A few years later, in 2004, General Electric purchased Vivendi Universal's acquired interest and merged the company with NBC. From then on, it became NBC Universal. Most recently, in 2010, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter was opened and has since drawn in record crowds.
Walt Disney World and Universal Studios are a mere 15 miles apart from each other, making them obvious direct competitors. In terms of demographics of each park, Walt Disney World is comprised of 42,000 acres of land, 4 theme parks, and 2 water parks. Additionally, they have 24 on-site hotels. Overall, Walt Disney World employs around 66,000 employees, making them the largest single-site employer in America.
In direct comparison, Universal Orlando Resort, while also located in near proximity in Orlando, Florida, measures 673 acres in physical size. That makes it notably the largest property owned by NBC Universal. This large vacation destination encompasses 2 theme parks within the complex, both Universal Studios Florida and Universal Islands of Adventure. In addition to 3 themed on-site hotels, the Loews Portofino Bay Hotel, the Hard Rock Hotel, and the Loews Royal Pacific Resort. A nighttime entertainment complex called City Walk is also included on the resort. Furthermore, when measuring the size of this organization in terms of staff, the approximate count of 12,000 employees is just as impressive. Interestingly, we found 2,413 employees alone on the professional networking site LinkedIn.
We decided to collect multiple types of information on both Disney and Universal before we head out on our vacation to see what the hype is all about. We couldn't call ourselves real researchers if we didn't collect any data.
Specifically, we looked at organizational documents such as press releases from both companies. We found quite a few media documents such as newspaper stories about each of the parks and happenings. It's insightful the kind of information you can find in the depths of Google.
Lastly, we even sent out a survey to all of our friends and family that had visited both parks to see how they felt about each park and which they preferred and why.
Let's see what kind of conclusions we can draw from our research.
Walt Disney World has branded itself as being a place where dreams come true. With focuses on magic, dreams, and fairy tales, Disney has successfully built themselves a reputation that promises magical adventures, dreams coming true, and fairy tales awaiting every guest to walk through their park's gates. By branding themselves as a magical place where dreams really do come true, Walt Disney World has successfully maintained their position as the top tourist attraction in Orlando, Florida since its opening in 1971. Their branding strategy is remarkably successful, as exhibited by survey responses describing Disney World's atmosphere as magical, welcoming, and the happiest place on Earth.
You know, I think Universal is just as successful as Disney in branding and marketing their values within their mission statement. As can be seen by the vacation destination brochure, they placed a lot of emphasis on bringing families together. And their arguments are both strategic in that appeals are made to both individual desires by using statements such as where you can be courageous, be outrageous, and be extraordinary, while emphasizing their ability to create ties and connections within families by being the only place where you can turn spending time with your family into spending time as a family. The entire organization is essentially focused on the core values of family and adventure by enabling you to go above and beyond the normal human experience found in everyday mundane life. The effectiveness of branding their assumptions in this way is seen in our survey results, where mostly all of our respondents reflected these values. One respondent claimed that the atmosphere is adventurous, exciting, and electric, while another enjoyed the excitement, anticipation, and high energy. Overall, here we see the effectiveness of Universal's marketing strategy in addition to living up to expectations that they set for their organizational performance.
One of the key ways that Disney is able to keep the magic alive in Walt Disney World is through innovation. Walt Disney World is constantly changing, with some rides being updated while other brand new ones are built. Rather than get rid of old rides, Walt Disney World has chosen to update and modify their current rides, but also to expand their parks numerous times to accommodate both their old and new rides. In 2013, Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom went through the biggest expansion in the park's history, with the opening of New Fantasyland in 2014 that expanded the park by 25%. Walt Disney World's Animal Kingdom is currently under renovation and expansion that is the biggest expansion in Animal Kingdom's history. The new section of the park will include thrilling technological advances that will help portray the famous world of Avatar from James Cameron's movie franchise. In addition to park expansions, Disney has just implemented a brand new state-of-the-art technology called MyMagic+. This system interconnects the entire park and allows guests to plan their trips in advance and store all the information on the electronic bracelet. The bracelets will simultaneously act as guests' room keys, credit cards, park tickets, meal plans, fast passes for attractions, and schedule of events. The MyMagic+ system is unlike any other technology currently on the market, and it gives Walt Disney World an innovative edge over its competitors.
Universal also thinks of itself as an organization of innovation. Universal really demonstrates a growing awareness of the need for innovation in an increasingly technology-based society in order to keep up with its competitors. Looking at you, Disney. We found a prime example of the way Universal positions itself as an innovative competitor within the market. The Orlando Sentinel article focuses on the permanent closure of the well-known Jaws amusement ride in the Orlando Park, one of the original exhibits in the park's 1990 opening. Universal spokesman Tom Schroeder specifically states that Jaws has been an important part of our history, but we always have to look to the future and dedicate ourselves to providing new, innovative entertainment experiences for our guests. This is an excellent example of Universal advertising itself as an organization that does not hesitate to adapt and change in order to keep up with demand in such a dynamic market. When it comes to the question, adapt or perish, Universal knows what to do to survive.
Employees at Disney are referred to as cast members. Cast members are ultimately responsible for upholding high standards of quality for not only service, but also the quality of guests' Disney experiences. Disney recognizes the important role these cast members play, stating that our cast members and employees are the cornerstones of our magic. They strive to provide a family-friendly atmosphere that will be welcoming to people of all origins, cultures, and ages. With millions of guests visiting Walt Disney World every year, cast members must have specific rules and regulations to ensure that these magical moments and memories can be made for every guest. By making sure that employees embody the essence of Disney, Walt Disney World is not only ensuring their name is not tarnished by unruly cast member actions, but they are also ensuring that guests have the utmost magical experience possible. Disney has made it their goal to make their parkgoers feel as though they are getting a special, one-of-a-kind experience rather than feeling like they are just another face in the crowd. By making parkgoers feel as though they are guests within the world of Walt Disney, Disney is able to make its guests feel valued by the franchise and feel as though they are part of the Disney community. This is incredibly important to Disney because by making park guests feel valued, important, and special, Disney is connecting with their guests on an emotional level. Based on our survey results, guests that attend Walt Disney World typically have incredibly positive things to say about the Disney cast members. When asked about their experiences with Disney cast members, survey takers responded with some notable answers that highlight the optimism and quality of service provided by Disney cast members. These answers included, "Everyone was so happy and willing to help with what I needed. They went out of their way to make us feel special," and "always amazing guest service at Walt Disney World."
In terms of corporate culture, it is crucial to understand how employees within Universal Orlando identify themselves with the values circulated by management. We found a Forbes article of Comcast's acquisition of Universal from General Electric, which shows an obvious attempt of Universal's parent company to forge stronger relationships between all members of the organization. For example, it states Comcast, with a conservative, low-profile culture, had clashed with the GE approach. Comcast moved NBC Universal's executive offices to the 51st floor, less opulent space that features smaller executive offices, and a cozy communal coffee room instead of General Electric's lavish executive dining room. We see that Universal attempts to break up the strict traditional and bureaucratic power structures by encouraging more communication, both formal and informal, between its members. This is crucial because it informs us about the vision that Universal has for the structure of its corporate culture. While the steps taken to foster a community of members through encouraging more dialogue on a relational level is commendable, the survey we sent out supports that Universal could definitely put more effort into communication within all levels of the organization. Many comments on customer interaction with employees in the park give a sense that more communication is needed, such as they were helpful but they really weren't too cheerful about it, and also more into management to keep things moving but very polite. While employees were not perceived to be overly evasive or unhelpful, we can draw that leadership could put more effort into immersing employees into the envisioned culture of the organization, instead of sufficing with their outward appearance of just accepting it. After all, the performance of individual members directly reflects upon the performance of the organization as a whole, especially because an organizational system is more than the sum of its individual members and units or their particular relationship to one another. In the traditional bureaucratic structure that Universal is attempting to break up, the members on the lower end of the hierarchy do play a crucial role. Management must be aware that all employees must become fully immersed in the vision they have for the organization in order to build a stronger corporate culture and performance as a whole.
Overall, we found quite a few similarities and differences between Universal Orlando and Walt Disney World.
We can conclude that both have distinct core values and a corporate culture that they circulate through uniquely different ways.
While Disney embodies the core values of making dreams come true and being the happiest place on earth,
Universal aims to bring families together through the ultimate adventure. The difference in how members embody the values communicated by management are evident in their customer interactions.
Disney employees exemplify values circulated by its transformational leadership, placing emphasis on optimism and bonding with visitors on an emotional level.
Universal employees, on the other hand, tend to be slightly more distant as a result of a more traditional leadership, giving visitors more space to discover the adventure on their own.
In addition, both Disney and Universal are organizations of innovation, constantly adapting to market needs. While Disney does this by, for example, implementing tech-savvy bracelets for superior customer satisfaction,
Universal applies innovative concepts by making room for new technologically advanced theme rides.
ultimately, however, we cannot find that one style works better than the other.
Which plays a crucial role in why both Universal and Disney can coexist peacefully.
Their slightly differing approaches ensure that both organizations can and do survive in such close proximity while constantly adapting to new challenges along the way.
To answer our original question, we
guess we'll have to visit both.
Hi. No. Ourselves real researchers if we didn't collect any data.
Specifically, we looked at organizational documents such as press releases from both companies. Get out of your system.
Are you already recording there? The hair.
Okay. Yeah, the hair's a problem.
Alright.
Afro life. Okay.